Good evening. Welcome to our crafting time where we are rediscovering old crafts, old vintage crafts using items found at Remnants Antiques in Pella. Tonight we are going to make this clipboard. I think maybe my camera's not far enough away for you to see the whole thing at once, but if I turn it sideways, but it actually might be upright for you guys, I'm not sure. Yeah. So this is the project we're doing, and so I'm going to cover a clipboard. This is a vintage clipboard. It had some kind of like fall leaf like background on the actual board. Sorry, my moving things around there. And yeah, so we're just gonna decoupage this vintage Christmas paper. This was in my stash, my personal stash at home. I know Remnants has a little bit of Christmas paper. Of course, you wouldn't have to use vintage Christmas paper for this, but we do have a little bit at the store. And I know that there are clipboards there. This clipboard was $2. So I'm thinking a little cheaper than what you're going to find at to buy a brand new one. Besides, you've got that whole, you know, worn edges and that old feel to it, especially when using vintage paper. And it looks like I varnished something a few minutes ago, and it looks like I got a couple speckles somehow. Oh well. So to do this project, you'll need here's what you're gonna need. I'm gonna move this finished one out of the way. Oh, and I just bumped the camera. I'm really good at that. So to do this project, you're going to need a paintbrush, and these are just JB's from Walmart, so no big deal. You're gonna need some Mod Podge, or quite often I just happen to have this from, I don't know, I guess I probably bought it. Anyway, I also really like a watered down glue, just Elmer's glue. It works really, really good to do some decoupage with. So you're gonna need a paintbrush. You're gonna need decoupage, medium, Mod Podge in this case, or glue. You're gonna need some. This is wrapping paper, but you could use a variety of vintage papers for this. And you're going to need a clipboard. And if Kelly's watching, she could tell you if there's clipboards at the store. I'm pretty sure there are. So yeah, there's nothing special about this, though. The one issue that I ran into when I was doing my practice one is that you do have to cut around this top. But I'm going to kind of show you a little bit what I did. I went ahead and got my new paper ready for that. Just to, you know, make my life a little easier. So, you're going to take your wrapping, this is just wrapping paper. I have no idea where it came from. So, you're going to want to, first thing you're going to want to do is cut it a little bit bigger than your clipboard. So, I just pulled it out, laid it out, and I just made sure that it covered all the space. We are going to obviously take off the extra in a little bit. So the next thing that I did was, I don't know how well you can see it, but I did make a kind of a rough, using a pen or a pencil, whatever. I made a rough configuration of the shape of this whole clip. Now, the thing is, you want to get it under this, but you have to figure out how to get it up around that piece there. So hopefully this works. My other one isn't so nice, so hopefully this one looks a little better. You're just gonna cut on your lines. So I do have more of this paper if I mess up. We'll just hope I don't mess up. Okay, so you see when you push it under this clip, you have to, well, it looks like I cut it a little too big, but that's okay. You have to account for this extra piece that's actually attaching the metal clip. Oh, and you guys haven't been able to see any of that. I apologize. Okay. So this clip, you have to figure out how to this shape here, and it looks like I cut it a little bigger, but I can paint over it. I'm going to edge it in gold, so I can put a little gold there, or I can just put some more paper over there. So I'm going to center it a little bit better too, just so I'm painting it equal on both sides. And I also thought, you know, you could put a ribbon or something if you wanted other ways to cover up. But yeah, you've got to cut around that clip as best you can. So the first one I used a box cutter, you know, what is this knife called? X-Acto knife? Something like that to help me figure out that cut. So, and then you're just going to want to kind of line up your paper so it's even. Because once you decoupage it, you're basically gluing. You're not going to be able to pull anything up. All right. Actually, my paintbrush was over here in the water from my earlier project. So, getting that dry. All right. So, let's go ahead and make sure that I'm marking in the camera. So the thing about decoupage is you kind of want to go slow and smooth things down as you go, just to prevent wrinkles as best you can. It will wrinkle no matter what you do because you are adding moisture to paper. So just keep that in mind. It's never gonna be perfect. At least in my opinion. I kind of like that look though. So, just making sure you can see me. Okay, so this has got a nice wood grain to it. And I actually think it would be kind of cool if it does show through the paper. Sometimes whatever you've done underneath that you're decoupaging on will come through depending on, generally people say go ahead and paint your project and then decoupage on that. So you want to just start under the clip. We're gonna work down, and then we'll go back and finish the top. So we're just gonna put a thin layer of decoupage, and this is mostly just to glue it down. And one thing I didn't do a good job on that first one was getting all the way to the edges. I had some repair to do. So just go ahead and do that. And then coming back on this side, I just kind of worked it down with the side of my hand. Some people use a brayer. There's some different things you can use to get that as smooth as possible. See, I can already feel a little wrinkle in there, even though I feel like I have this super smooth. It just, I don't know. It's the paper, it's the moisture, it's I'm sure someone who does this professionally would know, but that would not be me. Okay, so you kind of will know by where the paper's sticking how far you need to go. Back up. Oh, there was a vehicle with a diesel engine out there. So yeah, just make sure you're getting all the way to your edges and clear up to where you stopped before. You want it well covered, but you don't want it to be like really thick and gloppy. That's bad. I just want, oops, a nice even coat. Yeah. I wonder if that was the UPS guy. I mean, it's Christmas. I didn't see anything, and I've got a sliding glass door in front of me, and I didn't see anything, but who knows? It's dark out there. Sorry, I know I'm coming in right in the way there of my can of Mod Podge. Can you guys still see where I'm working? Yep, just making sure I'm hitting the edges really good this time. Something else that I really like about using vintage paper is that, yeah, see where it's wrinkling. It just adds to the texture, right? Is that there are some aging, whether it's like a discoloration from the sun or something right along that folds, but I don't know. I think it's interesting. I don't like clean, pristine things, so goes with my aesthetic, I guess. That things are a little chippy, little used, little loved. So if you're just joining me, I'm making a clipboard with some Christmas paper that you're going to be able to put a favorite family Christmas picture on. I thought it'd be really cute. I mean, this would be probably for next year, but to put your child's or grandchild's Santa's list on here and hang it up in the kitchen or something. Some school project, maybe. I mean, there's quite a few things you could. Let's see, just making sure that you can still see what I'm working on. Quite a few things that you could put on this and hang it up under that clip. So kids are always bringing stuff home from school. You know, and there's, you can get fancy with this too. I just wanted to really simple, easy craft that pretty much anybody could do. Anybody could very easily get the supplies, or there might even be things. You know, you wouldn't have to use vintage wrapping paper. There's, you know, any paper pretty much can be decoupaged. I really like to use napkins. So if you've got a Christmas napkin, that would be cute. I also thought, and then I had other things to do, so I didn't follow through, but if you put Merry, Bright, Noel, you know, just a simple Christmas word here along the bottom in a coordinating color, or black, would, you know, really dress it up as well. All right, so I'm going to do this top part now. I think I have enough decoupage to... This is kind of just a matter of figuring out where you didn't get your glue last time. Going back under. You can sort of see what I'm doing. I realized my hand was trying to hold that clip up so I can get some glue underneath here. All right, so now we just have this side over here left to do. And if you are using vintage paper, you know, keep in mind it's a little more brittle than maybe like a modern scrapbooking paper. But, you know, if you use a napkin, that's obviously going to be, you know, it's not hard to decoupage with it. You just have to have, you know, take your time. All right, that is the paper down. So I'm gonna put my brush over there for a minute. And okay, so Kelly, if you are watching and you want to let people know if there's clipboards at the store, what we might have for some vintage papers, whether it's that Christmas paper or other vintage wrapping papers, anything along that line that they could use, that would be awesome. So you know, you don't really have to wait for this to dry. We're gonna go ahead and sandpaper the edges up, and I'm gonna cut this bottom because it's kind of a chunk to have to. And I, of course, save a bigger scrap like that to... I got a decent sized scrap. I always save those. You never know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sandpaper my edge. Oops, sorry. I realized I am. So sanding decoupage is you don't go up and down. You don't go up and down, and you don't go sideways. You go down, and that is it. So you go, just making sure you can see me. Oh, not the best here. Oh, let's toss a few more of my things here. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so you're just down. I don't go up. You just go down and pull it along the edge. And that's actually gonna cut that paper. See, and we'll go back and put some more, because that's not sticky. Go back and put some more decoupage in there in a minute. But so just do a downward, some pressure, and that's just gonna. I think my grit on my sandpaper, it's pretty, grit goes less strong by the higher number, right? So is it 220? It's a pretty fine grit. You don't need a heavy grit because it's literally paper. We're not trying to, you know, saw down a tree with it. Okay, so there's half of it right there. That just comes right off. Super easy. So sorry, it was getting a little awkward to hold that way. I mean, it's just awkward to hold this whole clipboard, actually. It'd be less awkward if I wasn't doing this on camera. That I definitely know. I feel like it was easier to do this earlier when I wasn't filming myself. And I could have trimmed this a little closer, but I won't save this small piece of paper. So look how easily that just almost falls right off. And you know, if you see stuff kind of working loose, you can push it back down. There should be enough decoupage if you don't go super thin. Don't go heavy. You don't want to glop it because that will really cause the paper just to wrinkle. But you do want to get enough on there that it stays nice and firm to your clipboard. All right. Get my paper scraps picked up there. And then I'm gonna dump this in my little bag over here as I shake sawdust all over. Okay, so there is this lovely clipboard that we have decoupaged Christmas paper on. I'm just gonna quick check edges just to make sure we got it off and it looks good. You could even go a little bit into the top of the clipboard if you like that look. I am going to go back over it with some gold paint on the edges here in a minute. I feel like it just kind of finished up my project. Okay, so there is this clipboard. The edges are nicely, but now I'm going to go back and kind of check to make sure. I run your fingernail along. I felt like that was kind of moving, but now it seems, oh no, it's definitely coming out there. Sorry, I feel like I'm totally in the lens of the camera there. So I don't know if this bothers you. We can go back and put a tiny little scrap of paper in there, but I am also gonna come around with gold paint, and I think the gold paint will cover that up as well. So hey Beth, I thought you weren't gonna make it on here tonight. I know watching your sister craft is your favorite thing to do. Okay, so I'm just gonna check it with my fingernail, you know, or whatever. It's probably mostly the corners. That seems pretty good. I feel like I did much better on this one than I did on the one I did this afternoon. I mean, you don't want to pick at it because that would be, you know, then you're of course asking for problems, but oh, and I did notice that one wasn't glued down very well. So just a quick, put some more glue in there, smush it down. Yeah, I think that's pretty good actually. Okay, and then you can set your Mod Podge. And this doesn't have to be dry before you do this next part with the gold. Okay, so my gold paint is just paint from Walmart. I really like the Emperor's Gold. It has like a slightly antiqued look to it. And I like working out of the lid. Hi, honey. Do you have anything you'd like to say to me right now? No, I'm just asking. That wasn't...
Are you live?
I am.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't mean that to sound loaded.
Need a hand?
I don't. Thank you. So I'm just going to take, this is actually a stencil brush, because it will, you don't want to put a ton of paint on your brush, because we're just like edging. So, and you want it to, I don't even know if this will show up on camera, but you just kind of want to like edge it and be wispy. I don't know. I love gold paint. I feel like it just dresses things up nicely. See, you can almost not even see that wood anymore. Okay, okay. I know you like sticking your hand in it, but I don't know that that is... You could have a conversation with me. You could...
Is there sound?
Yes, there is sound.
Hi.
Good job.
You can do running commentary?
I do a lot of running commentary. I tell people how to craft the supplies they need.
That looks very nifty.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Can I use it for my garage?
No, it's going back to Remnants to be sold. Yeah, so it just ends up being... You got too much paint there. You can go back and fiddle and do... You just, I don't know, it softens the edge maybe a little bit. I'm going to try and put several coats of the gold up at the top there. So... trying to figure out what you guys can see and what you can't. Yeah, so these two clipboards that I made will be for sale. So if you don't feel like crafting them, but you like the project, this paper that I have is not available at Remnants. I can't tell you where I bought it. Who knows? Sometimes people give me things and then I'm, you know, you have no idea. But I would think thrift stores might have vintage paper. I don't know. I just know that we had one thing to choose from at the store. So whoever gets that first is the lucky one. So I think this gold edging is what took the longest of anything. Sorry, I'm still adding it to that top corner. Okay. Because stencil brushes are so rough, that's kind of how I'm doing the wispy. I've seen people do them with like a fan type brush. So you don't want a very compact brush for it, I guess. And you could do this with ink pads. When I scrapbooked, I usually, I like the age look. Imagine that. And I would take an ink pad and then run it all the way around to kind of give my paper projects an aged, worn look to them. I don't know, it just kind of frames it, softens it a little bit. I suppose there's some sort of technical word, but I don't know what it is. Okay, and then the last step, which is actually a little bit optional, because it is, you know, it could be used at this point, but I like to seal the paper. So we're going to put one more coat of the Mod Podge. And the Mod Podge that I use today is matte. And I don't think I bought this. I think this might have been my mom's stash. Mod Podge does not go bad, because I couldn't even tell you why she had it or when she might have used it. It did come from Hobby Lobby, so it's not like ancient, but oh, I'm gonna make it a mess. I don't like matte surfaces. I like something with a little bit of a gloss to it, so I don't know why I have this. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So this will go pretty fast. You just kind of start at your top to get all of that paper under the clip here. I guess I could actually show you. Oops. Yeah, it's just gonna, and because it's matte, it'll take a little bit of the shine away from the gold. That's okay. And then just with this clip up here, I just went close. I didn't go under because I didn't want the clip to stick to the Mod Podge and then you couldn't actually use the clip. Just, yeah. Unlike me. I'm gonna make it a mess. Okay. Just kind of go around and seal the edges of your papers. This is another good time to, like, there, I see that I missed that. The edge, it will just kind of work its way in there. And now some people say when you decoupage that you don't want to put your top coat on right away. You want to give the coat that's underneath time to dry. It just causes less wrinkles, but since I kind of like it wrinkly a little bit, I like that texture, I go ahead and do it. But if you want to get a really smooth process, then, you know, take a couple of days rather than 20 minutes. But as you can tell, this is a very quick project. It would be an excellent project to do during Christmas break with kids, grandkids, the neighborhood kids, because they were driving their mother crazy. Wouldn't that be nice? If a mom got a break over Christmas, it'd be so nice. Okay, as you can tell, I am 2 seconds away from being done with this part of it. I mean, it comes together so fast. You just need a few supplies that a lot of, I mean, if you're crafty already, you probably have kicking around your house. You need, if you don't have decoupage medium, I know that's probably one thing that's going to throw people off, but I do a lot of decoupage with glue, watered down Elmer's glue. I think it is just as effective, if not more effective. And then I'll even use it for the top part. Oh, it's quite the wrinkle there. If I want a little bit of gloss to it, I use a water-based varnish. Just if I want a little shine to my, and usually I do, honestly. So I don't know if anybody asked. Is it quiet online tonight? I just feel like it's quiet in my house with the boys occupied. Okay, so what you're going to need is you're going to need some paintbrushes, which you might have. A good possibility. You need glue. So you can use, just like take your Elmer's glue, pour it in a bowl, You don't need as much as you think. And then you're going to water it down a little bit till it's like, maybe like pancake syrup consistency. So you thin it a little bit so it's brushable. And then you brush it on, you put your paper on, sand down the edges so it conforms to the curves, and then I did paint the edges with some gold paint. And so this one obviously is just done. Let me show you again the one I did this afternoon. And it's all nice and dry. And this has the matte decoupage, the Mod Podge on it, which, you know, so it does take away a little bit. But that, you know, the gold on the edge there is nice. So yeah, fun craft to do with your kids, whomever, but most of us have, I'm assuming, I don't know, most people have these sorts of things in their house. If you got kids, you got glue, right? Glue and paintbrushes. So get yourself a clipboard, some vintage paper, both of which you can find at Remnants. So for decoupaging, you can use scrapbooking paper. You can use tissue paper, like, well, you actually can use tissue paper. 1-ply napkin. So if you got a pretty Christmas napkin, you'd need a bigger, like a dinner size one though, to get the whole thing covered. They do make decoupage papers out of rice paper. You can just use a myriad of, actually I've used printer paper that I've printed images on. So lots and lots of ideas of the papers that you can use. And then, you know, hang it up and put your kid's picture on there, or their Christmas list, or one of their cute little Christmas crafts they made in Sunday school. I don't know, put whatever you want to on there. But that is our craft for Friday night. So thank you for everybody who joined me, and stop in at Remnants and get the supplies that we have there for you. And thanks for joining me. We will see you hopefully, well, I think next week not, because obviously I'll be traveling for one thing, but it is Christmas, so and the next week will be, so I think it'll be a couple weeks before we do this again. But in the meantime, have a very blessed holiday and enjoy your time with your family and your friends, and stay safe on the road. Okay, bye-bye.